Thanks for tuning in for another flipped classroom video. For the last two math lessons, we have been learning and practicing how to skip count by 5s and 10s. Throughout this video, we will be learning how to count by 2s. Before we do that, let's think. Can you think of anything that comes in pairs or sets of 2s? Well, here are just a few examples. Socks. Whenever you need to buy new socks, you don't just buy one sock, you buy a pair of socks. That means you buy 2 socks. Another example would be shoes. Again, whenever one of my shoes gets old, I don't just buy one shoe to replace it, I buy a set of shoes. I buy 1, 2 shoes. I would be kind of silly if I just bought one shoe. I'd probably look something like this. Kind of silly, right? So socks and shoes are something that you buy in pairs or in sets of 2. Another example would be mittens. Again, you buy these as a pair, meaning 2 at a time. Look at this pig. What do you see 2 of on this pig? You should see 2 eyes and 2 ears. And finally, let's take a look at this kid. You're a kid just like him. What do you have 2 of? You have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 arms, and 2 legs. So you have lots of things just on your own body that comes in 2. So many things come as a set of 2. Learning to count by 2s will come in handy when you need to count anything that comes in 2s, or if you need to count large groups. It's called skip counting because we skip numbers when we skip count. Let's skip on this 100 chart. If I were to skip count by 2s, I'm going to count by 2s. 1, 2. I land on 2. I'll do it again. 1, 2. I land on 4. And I just keep going. 1, 2. I land on 6. 1, 2. I land on 8. 1, 2. I land on 10. I'll keep going for the next row, but see if you notice any patterns happening as I keep counting by 2s. 1, 2, I land on 12. 1, 2, I land on 14. Uh-oh, my girl's stuck under there. 1, 2, I land on 16. 1, 2, I land on 18. 1, 2, I land on 20. Because I was skipping 2 numbers, that's why it's called skip counting by 2s. Now, if I were to look at only the numbers that I highlighted, I would count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Try that with me. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Nice job. And I can do that all the way to 100 on my 100 chart. Now, if I were to keep going, I would cover up 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30. You should start to see a pattern on the 100 chart. You would probably be able to fill in the rest of the numbers we would say when we count by 2s all the way to 100. If you notice, every number you say when you count by 2s is either going to end with a 2, a 4, a 6, an 8, or a 0. So that will kind of help you remember if you're counting by 2s correctly or not. Now let's take a look at some things. Let's decide if counting by 2s would be useful or not. So first here I have tricycles, and I want to know how many wheels are on a tricycle. if I counted the wheels 2, 4, I wouldn't get the correct answer because there are 3 wheels on each tricycle. So I would not count wheels on a tricycle by 2's. Let's look at wings on a bee. Each bee has 1, 2 wings. So I would be able to count their wings by 2. I would say 2, 4, 6, 8. How many wings are on all of these bees? I would say 8 wings. So when you have something that comes in a pair or comes as 2's, you can count them by 2's. Next, let's look at points on a star. Each star has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Well, it wouldn't make sense to say 2, 4, 6 points because each star has 5 points. I would actually count that by 5's, which is what we learned yesterday. I would go 5, 10, 15 points. So that is not something that I would count by 2's. Last example here are socks. We already talked about how socks come in pairs. You buy socks as a pair. So I could count these by 2's. 2, 4, 6. How many socks do we have? 6 socks. Nice job. Let's look at this. Look at all of these counters. Whenever I need to count a big group of things, I like to count by 2's. Let's see which is more efficient. What do you think? Which would be more efficient if I count each counter individually or if I count the counters by 2's? Well, I'm going to time myself and see which way is faster. So the first time I'm going to count each counter by itself. I'm going to count one at a time. Let's see how long it takes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so counting each counter separately, it took me 15 seconds. Not too bad. And 20 isn't really a great big number, but it's still a big enough number that if I wanted to, I could count by 2's. So I am going to put 20 down here so that I remember that I counted 20 counters when I counted them separately. Now I'm going to reset my timer and I'm going to count by 2's. When I count by 2's, I have to drag away 2 counters at a time because I'm counting by 2's. So let's see how long it takes me to count by 2's. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. That time it took me 10 to 11 seconds. So the first time it took me 15 seconds to count them one at a time, and this time it took me 11 seconds to count 2 at a time. So which way would you say is more efficient? That's right, counting by 2's. And you'll notice that when I counted by 2's, I got the same answer of 20. So it doesn't matter if you count 1 at a time or 2 at a time, you should still get the same answer. Okay, now it's time to try one on your own. Get your homework sheet ready. Look at this picture. This question requires you to count by 2's. How many ears are there in all? Each lion has 2 ears, so make sure you count by 2's. Write your answer down, and we'll be checking that tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Have a nice night.